Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Don't Wait Till Pigs Fly, a podcast for and by entrepreneurs, successful business people, and those of us who deal with not only the ups and downs of business, but the pain, frustration, and all the good things that come along with chronic illness. Today, we're talking with Cheryl Meyer, who has suffered from autoimmune disease. By eliminating toxins, she reversed her pain, and she has a BA from UC Berkeley and is a health coach from IIN. Cheryl is an award-winning author, international bestseller, health coach, speaker, local TV host, and guest podcaster. Her book, It Feels Good to Feel Good, Learn to Eliminate Toxins, Reduce Inflammation, and Feel Great Again, has won 13 awards. It is available on Amazon. She is currently writing her second book, Feeling Great, Living Low Toxin in Community and Everyday Life. Toxins are everywhere and impacting our health, the health of our children, and the health of our earth. I would like people to eliminate the toxins now and not wait until they get sick and tired of being sick and tired. She adds, it's all about toxic load. Each toxin that is eliminated is one step closer to health. Cheryl specifically works with clients with chronic illness, giving them hope and helping them find solutions. She encourages you to listen to your body and to own your own health. Her website is CherylMHealthMuse.com. Welcome, Cheryl. It's good to talk to you again.
So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Good. And I know we could sit here and talk all day about all the wonderful chronic and other illnesses and other issues that we have, but we have a limited time, and I want to jump right in because I think, while right this moment I'm not talking about toxins specifically, I do want to talk about listening to our bodies and being able to tell when there's something wrong. I know for so many of us that have chronic illness, myself included, that, and if we run and own a business, we have to go, and we feel like we can't take an afternoon off, or we can't stop and take a nap, or if we do, we feel guilty and we think, oh, we're just ruining our business. Talk to me about that. How important is it to understand your body?
Oh, it's something, when I speak, I actually start by looking at the crowd and saying, when's the last time you asked your body, how do you feel? Because I was not doing that, and I was feeling lousy a lot of days, and it was flitting past my head so quick I didn't even stop to register it until it built up and all kinds of things were happening to me that I just was ignoring. I had underarm deodorant issues where they either made me rash or they made me blister. My mascara was making my eyes either watery or itchy as heck. I was getting rashes up and down one side of the body, and then all of a sudden it would disappear. I was getting terrible brain fog some mornings where I got up and it took me 2, 3, 4 cups of coffee before I could get going and function. There's just all kinds of signs, as little as there were mornings when I looked in the mirror and I thought I looked pretty good, and other mornings when I was all puffy. And that was a sign that my inflammation was growing, and I didn't know it. I didn't think about it. And I had my own business. I was designing jewelry and selling it to big box customers. I was manufacturing overseas. And I would have been so much more productive had I slowed down, looked inside, and said, hey, what the heck is going on here? And my stress level had reached the point where I had depleted my cortisol so much that I was almost to Addison's disease. And so I've learned all kinds of ways to control my stress because that directly impacts your productivity. So it's really important that you get to know your body And I ask myself every morning when I get up, how am I doing today? And there are days when I have a little bit of a flare, but I'm lucky because when I get a flare now, I don't have pain anymore. But I've also eliminated hundreds of toxins from my life. And there's a new medication that I'm on called MDL, which is a compounded medication that was designed in Iceland for people who were addicted to opiates, of all things. But in very small amounts, they have discovered it's really great for people with fibromyalgia. And although I have what's called undefined autoimmune disease, because I have a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B and a little bit from column C, I am the closest to fibromyalgia. And so after I did everything in my power that I could do, my functional doctor finally said, let's try this. And I'm in a group on Facebook, and it works really well for me and not so well for other people in the group because they haven't made the other lifestyle changes, I'm convinced. And they're still drinking, yada, yada. You have to really be good to your body to reach the place where I am at. But it doesn't mean I don't get the flare. I still blow up. I can gain 7 pounds overnight from something that I did the day before, which is highly annoying. So, and then I literally lay in bed and go, what did I do? What did I do that caused this? And what did I do to stop it?
And I think that I got so many questions right now that my brain's just, spinning. But I think that's a big one. And it's because we don't know our body. Is you sit there and you say, what's going on? What's happening? First of all, I don't think we say, what did we do? I think for the most part, we look outside. But even if, for myself, I know myself well enough that I'm going, well, I didn't do anything yesterday. Why am I having this problem? And I can't answer that. And it's annoying. It's frustrating. I call my doctors and they just sort of shrug their shoulders and go, well, we've tried everything we can think of, And so then that causes the depression. It causes the anger, and that just makes things that much worse.
Yeah. But I can't sometimes put my finger on something that I did. If I didn't read a label and I eat something, I will get up and go, what was in that food that I just put in my body? And then I discover I really shouldn't have eaten it, and I should have read the label ahead of time. Sometimes I can go back and figure it out. And things like soy always trigger me, always. So but it's hidden in all kinds of ways inside of food. So I miss it sometimes. And then I kick myself because I pay for it.
Yeah.
So a lot of what I do out of self-defense. But I do listen to my body to the point that even if I do get to the point of a flare, I try to backtrack and figure out what was it that I can change so that tomorrow when I wake up, it's going to take probably more than one day to go away, but I can stop doing that so that I can start to return to a place where I have less inflammation and less pain.
And I think that's really important, but I can already hear my own little voices going off in my head, so I'm sure they're going off in other people. But that takes work. That's hard.
The number one thing people tell me, I wrote a book about the hundreds of toxins I literally eliminated from my life. So what do people say to me? Oh, it's overwhelming. I can't do it. Oh my God, toxins are boring. You mean I have to eat different than the rest of America? I can't have the standard American diet? Yeah, and it's worth it.
I think that's the biggest thing. My doctor, one of my many doctors, tried putting me on a low FODMAP diet, which basically means I can't have anything but protein. Everything, glutens are out, dairy's out, many fruits and vegetables are out. It's just, protein, meat. And I'm going, but I can't stand gluten-free. The dairy's fine, this is fine, but, I gotta have my fruits. I gotta have my whatever. And it gets so that I eat things, and then guess what? My stomach hurts the next day.
Have you ever had a sensitivity test?
I've had so many tests.
There's several labs that do them. I think Genova gives the best one. But they actually check for over 100 different items to how your body reacts to them. And by taking the sensitivity test, there's now someone you can get one done yourself without going through a doctor, because a lot of doctors don't believe in them. They believe in allergies, but they don't believe in sensitivities. I see a functional doctor was the first thing she did, was my first giant leap back to no pain, because I'm not allergic. I have sensitivities to 18 different foods. And they're not your normal culprits. People will tell you can do an elimination diet. Would never have found what I have a problem with. I have problems with things like basil and sage and mint. I would never have found that from an elimination diet. But not eating them, I consider all those foods now my kryptonite, because they trigger me immediately.
I need to take that. How does one get one of these do-it-yourself tests?
If you can get your doctor to order the Genova test, that's my first recommendation. If you can't, there's a company out of Seattle now called Meridian Valley, and you can get a test through them, and then you get 1 hour with their in-house functional doctor to explain how to read the test and what it means you should try from there on. A sensitivity is not like an allergy. If you have an allergy, you have an allergy for life. If you have a sensitivity, supposedly, you might be able to reintroduce the food after a year or two and not react to it. I haven't had such great luck with that, because one of the things that's a sensitivity for me is chicken. I used to eat so much chicken, I thought I was going to cluck. So I miss my chicken, and I keep trying to reintroduce it. It's never coming back. But you get a sensitivity because it's leaking through your leaky gut and triggering your immune system. So there's a point at which your immune system is just going to get triggered by it. But knowing what those are is a huge plus in terms of returning to somewhat of a normal body again.
Well, I need those things. Yeah, I need that. I know I took a test that my insurance is still screaming at me about, and the doctor said it was a very, very, very high level test, and most people didn't get it because we were sure I had Crohn's. But it kept coming back negative. And so they gave me that one test, and it said no, but he says most people don't. So my thing is IBS, but I really do think that there's a lot of sensitivities, and I can't tell from an elimination diet either. I know that things like acid, foods that are acidy bother me. And believe it or not, a doctor years and years ago told me I was not to ever eat at a, what are they called, where all the foods are out and you just go and... Salad bar.
Yeah.
I was not ever supposed to eat at a buffet or a salad bar, because the people before me, even with the glass things that they have over the top of them, would spread their germs.
Sure.
And every single time I eat I wanted to go eat at Golden Corral so bad the other day, and we ate, and everything was so good. And the minute I ate, it all came right back up again.
And I thought I was gluten sensitive when I first started on my journey, but it ends up I'm glyphosate sensitive, which is drenched on all the wheat. And I learned that because I got married 5 years ago and we went to Europe on our honeymoon, and I suddenly could eat pasta in Italy. And now I'm very careful to make sure if I'm going to eat something that's in the gluten family, it has to be organic, because glyphosate, which is Roundup, and I are not friends. So, you don't always know what's triggering you,
Yeah. And this test will tell you those things?
This test will tell you those things.
Interesting. I'm going to have to. The next question that I want that you were actually sharing a minute ago is, what the heck is a functional doctor?
Okay. Well, my conventional doctor, I woke up one morning, I couldn't get out of bed, everything hurt. So I went to my doctor. She ran 4 rounds of tests on 4 separate days. And she finally called me and said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. I'm going to give you steroids, but what I really want you to do is seek therapy. I said, number one, why am I going to take steroids if there's nothing wrong with me?
Yeah.
I am not going to live life of pain and pills. And number 2, there's nothing wrong with my head. I hurt. So I didn't even know what I was looking for. I was lucky that I had a staff that had been with me for many years. So I turned my business over to them and I dug in and I tripped accidentally across what's called the functional medical community. And they were running a series of symposiums at the time. And I watched 19 of them with multiple doctors. And almost every doctor who was functional had become functional because they got sick and could not help themselves. So they went for additional training. So let me tell you what their training is. A conventional doctor is taught to be reactive. They hear your first complaint and then a pill comes down the chute. The appointment is usually only 6 minutes long and you're on your way. A functional doctor wants to find the root cause, and they don't look at one specific body system. They look at the whole body. And since I listened to all these people, I had decided that I probably had something called leaky gut, because we're all talking about it. What caused leaky gut? I could do 2 things for myself right away while I was looking for somebody who I could go to. One was I could lower my stress, which causes leaky gut. And I knew I had a lot of stress because friends have been trying to get me to do something about it for years. And frankly, the tiger finally caught me because that was part of what made me sick. And then I could eliminate toxins. So there's a database called EWG, the Environmental Working Group. Hundreds of thousands of items are rated in EWG. And if your item's not in there, you can look them up ingredient by ingredient. It's not user friendly, but it's pretty much there. So that's where I started while I started looking for a functional doctor. A functional doctor, I did find 2 in Los Angeles. I drove almost an hour and a half to go to the first one. And then I found one an hour away. And to this day, I am with her because literally she saved my life. But as I walked in and I sat down with her, she said, Cheryl, you're sitting on a tack. Let's go find that tack. And the first thing she did was run the sensitivity test. So I was a huge believer right from the beginning because a large portion of what was causing me problems was solved. But then she doesn't give up. She has all kinds of things in her arsenal. She can give me a pharmaceutical drug, but that is not her first decision. And one of the things we discovered is in my genetics, I have something called MTHFR. I got it from both of my parents, which means that I have an anomaly that what goes in my body stays in my body. I knew I didn't sweat. Well, I don't detox at all. So we started with the fact that my joke was I popped out allergic to Pittsburgh because of the heavy toxic metals there. And I'll be darned, it was like eureka. I had so many heavy toxic metals in my body. So it sort of led us to what we were going to be looking for. And then we were finding ways that we could detox those things out. Somebody on Facebook just said it only takes 3 days to detox. Bull.
Yeah.
You can be detoxing forever. My body doesn't want to give this stuff up. So I got what I call molded 3 years ago in my office. It was growing in the wall behind my chair. And I have tried 5 different protocols to get that mold out of my body, and it doesn't want to leave. But a functional doctor doesn't give up and keeps coming up with new solutions to holistically try to get you back on track. So does that mean I'm not on any pharmaceuticals? No, I am on some. I also take a compounded thyroid, and I'm diabetic. So I take metformin and some things for diabetes. But I had terrible chronic fatigue. I now take an adaptogen for that I buy on Amazon. So there are other solutions to things that the pharmaceutical industry wants you to think only taking pills is going to help. So a functional doctor will work with you and then have a robust conversation with you. I have an appointment that's 45 minutes long every time I go see my doctor.
Wow, that's
I have
fantastic.
research, she has research, we get together and we talk, and then we decide what's the next approach going to be until I see her again. It's a whole different experience, but most of them don't take insurance.
That was my question.
I did find one that does, and I'm on Medicare, so Medicare covers all of my doctor visits, but not all of my holistic supplements and remedies. But it's not easy to find a functional doctor that does take any kind of insurance, and it's only the PPO. It's not the HMO. But I called everybody in the Los Angeles area, and there were, I think, 50 altogether. And I asked to speak to the office manager, and I asked, does your doctor do root cause medicine? And do you take insurance? And that's how I chose where I was going to go. There are some integrative doctors that also do root cause, but they don't necessarily, they might take insurance, they might not, and some integrative don't do root cause. So you need to ask the questions to know who's going to be able to help you the best.
So I guess the question is, you really do have to do some research. You have to figure
out your own health. I was a retail store manager for a department store, and we went through training. And we had something in our training called the Who Said of the Greatest Magnitude. They're the people we give all our power away to without really even questioning whether we should be doing that. And we have made our conventional medical doctors our Who Said of the Greatest Magnitude. And guess what? They're not responsible for your health. You're responsible for your health. And they don't like to be questioned. So do not be afraid to do research and walk in and ask questions, because that's how I knew I was with the wrong doctor, and that's why I knew I had to start researching. Because nobody's going to own this body but me.
Yeah. Back to the functional doctors again. I have done a little bit of research since we talked last, and I'm finding people who list themselves under functional medicine, but they're nurse practitioners. They're
all different kinds.
Yes. I haven't found many doctors. I found all these others.
There's a site called IFM, the Institute of Functional Medicine, ifm.org.
Okay.
And if you put your zip code in, everybody within whatever radius you're willing to travel who has gone through the Institute for Functional Medicine pops up. You will find holistic practitioners, you'll find NDs, naturopaths, you'll find nurse practitioners, you'll find chiropractors. A whole lot of people have gone through to get the functional background. There are medical doctors, however, and I chose a medical doctor because I didn't know what the heck was wrong with me, and that's who I wanted to bank my money on.
Yeah. That's actually what my next question was going to be. I am assuming that there are, now, if they are a functional doctor, that means they are an MD. That means they've gone to medical school, correct?
No, they could be a naturopath that went to naturopath school. And so they've gotten, like Ballard, which is a very high-end naturopath school in Seattle. I used to live up there. It's a very highly renowned place that you can get your degree.
Okay.
So they might be from some place like that. They are allowed to call themselves a doctor, but they're not necessarily through medical school. Mine went to Yale, so she did go to medical school, but not all of them do.
Are there times, and this is what I started to ask a second ago, are there times when you actually need to have an MD and you're going to see this functional person and they say, look, you need surgery, you need this, you need something, you've got to go see a full-on medical doctor?
Most of them, including my doctor, have a list of people they refer you to.
Okay.
I had a female issue. I got to go to the gynecologist who was holistic that she has built a relationship with. My husband now sees her. He has AFib. So he goes to the holistic heart doctor. They have a list of people they refer you to. My doctor's not going to do surgery, but she's got people that she recommends that she trusts to send you to.
Okay. Okay, because that's my only concern is that, and I know that the MD community they give you the pills, they do the surgeries, and maybe not necessary. But if there comes a time when there is something necessary,
You need our medical doctors who do other functions. And what I started to explain was, in my opinion, conventional medicine is reactive, whereas functional medicine is proactive. And that's the biggest way that you have a difference when you're seeing them. Because it does make a huge difference. But yes, there's times when you need somebody who has the skills of the conventional doctor that you can rely upon. But your doctor should still be involved in that.
Okay, let's jump back for a second, because a big part of what you've been talking about is this world of toxins. What's a toxin?
Yeah, that's actually become my thing. There is a doctor who just came out with a book. I followed his heavy toxic metal protocol, and I consider him the definitive expert in toxins. And he is the guy who started the Ballard School, as a matter of fact. He's not a medical doctor that went to medical school, but he is a naturopath who trained hundreds of thousands of other people to do that. His name is Dr. Joseph Pizzorno. And first he came up with a way to get heavy toxic metals out of the body. Then he left and went and did research for a while. And now he's put out a book about all the other toxins in our life and how they're impacting us. He does it from a scientific point of view, so I loved reading his book. I do it from a layman's point of view. I'm not a doctor.
That's what I want. What's a layman's point of view?
I just wanted to find where they were in my life. And literally, there were hundreds of them. And the more I got into it, the angrier I got that my government is not protecting me from any of them. But I finally came to the conclusion that we can all join together and we can shift things. There's another guy that I love at the Institute for Responsible Technology, who believes that a 5% shift in buying habits will start to shift what's available on the market. I've been doing this now for 8 years, and I'm starting to see little shifts. When I first started out, the cosmetics I was using on my skin were a 9 on a 10-point scale. They were outrageously expensive. They were French. And when I went to find something else, I had very little to choose from. Now there's several different lines that have come out to choose from. So
okay, well, let's stop for a second. Go back. What is a toxin? Give me a definition. What is it?
Well, that's funny. I should read you the definition. Somebody just asked me that on Facebook. A toxin and a poison and a toxin are being used pretty interchangeably now. A toxin is something that completely disrupts you and poisons different body systems. And it could be something as simple as the glyphosate that's being sprayed all over our crops, or it could be an unregulated ingredient in cosmetics or in our cleaning solutions.
How do we know?
How do you know? You look them up on EWG, and that's very time consuming. Or you can buy my book and see where I found them and what I replaced them with. I wrote the book because I wished I'd had this book when I got sick. It's kind of the manual that I wished I'd had when I started. And I wanted to give other people, you may not like what I chose, and we all have different bodies, but I at least wanted to give everybody a running start, that this is where I found all the toxins, and this is what I chose to replace it with. What comes out of our water taps? We think Flint, Michigan is unusual. Even pharmaceuticals are going through our system because people are throwing them down our toilets. All the stuff that's sprayed, and it's not just glyphosate, there's a whole series of things being sprayed on our crops. it's in everything. And some of it's even, I live part-time in Sedona. Sedona has a lot of arsenic in their water.
Not good.
No, it's not. We put whole water systems on both our houses because my body can't handle it, but nobody's body really can. And so it takes them out. And there's all different levels of things you can put on your water systems to get them out, including reverse osmosis, but that has its own issues because the stuff that you're done with when you do reverse osmosis is toxic. And what the heck do you do with it? So
scary.
In the earth. Yeah, it is scary, but there are some solutions. And if you're willing to put in, and you don't do it all overnight, it took me 5 years to eliminate all the toxins I talk about in my book, 5 years. And if anybody wants to buy my book, if you write to me, I'll send you a workbook because you're not going to eliminate them all at once. You're going to read the book. You're going to write down what you find toxic in your life. And when you run out of that old toxic thing is when you go to the store and you replace it with something much lower toxin. You do it systematically and you don't make yourself crazy because you can't. You cannot do it all at once. It's totally impossible. But I feel pretty darn good now, so I'm really glad that I did it. And I even go into what I call toxins of the mind. Stress, anxiety, toxic lack of sleep, toxic relationships. I was in one. I woke up one morning and he looked at me and said, "I don't like it that you're sick. Ducky, what would you like me to do about that?" He went out the door. But I actually took a class from somebody who said, "Cheryl, you need to be asking for what he needs to do to fit into your life." And the man who responded lived 10 minutes away from me and wanted to go on a get well journey with me. And he's a complete soulmate and total partner. He's a statistician. So he's like the perfect partner for me because he balances my right brain stuff. So, you know, and then toxic lack of exercise. It's all part of the same problem. So, and the stress exercises I now do myself on a regular basis. You could even do some of them seated. It's just making sure that you're bringing blood to different parts of your body all day long. And the key, again, is at your belly button. That was where your life started. And the theory is through your belly button, you can impact every organ in your body. So there's actually something called a belly button wand. And you put it in your belly button and you jiggle it. And you can actually feel the blood going up to your brain. And I watched the guy who's head of neurology at UCLA go, "That's ridiculous." And then he tested people and their brain waves went from wild to completely calm after 3 minutes of using the belly button wand.
Wow, that's wild.
We ran into him afterwards and he said he was blown away. He's recommending it to everybody now. So there are things you can do even if you are not mobile that will improve the energy in your body and the blood flow to your organs, all of which helps.
You know, that's we need to have another interview because we're out of time and we're just starting this conversation and there's so much more to discuss if we have the time. So we're going to need to get you back on. Would you be willing to come back again?
Of course. I've done over 100 podcasts as a guest in the 2 years since my book came out. And I want people to know what I have found. Yeah. So that if I can impact just one person by going on your show, then it's worth it to me. So
cool.
Absolutely, I will.
All right. Well, we will get that. We will get that arranged. We are out of time, so tell us quick if someone wants your book, if someone wants to talk to you, how do they get a hold of you?
Okay, it's Cheryl with a C, Cheryl M, like Mary, health, like health. And then Muse, Muse, because I want to inspire you to lead a better life. I had somebody on a podcast keep calling me Cheryl Moose. It's Muse. And then .com is my website. At gmail.com is my email. And if you write to me, I will answer questions. My goal, I'm 71. My goal at 71 now is to help other people learn what I've learned. And if you can't figure it out on your own, yes, you can hire me as your coach. But a lot of times I can lead you to places that if you're willing to put in the work, you can do it on your own. If you want the hand holding, I'm there for you.
There you go. That sounds wonderful. Last thought. Tell us something you've got to tell us before we leave.
Please own your own health. Just don't blindly follow somebody who doctors only get less than half a day, if that, in medical school on nutrition. So I believe that real food is health. You need to eat real food from a farm as close to you as possible. You need to eat it organic if possible. And there's something called the Dirty Dozen list. If it's on there, you must buy it organic. You want to eat all the colors of the rainbow because they work together in synergy to bring you health. I thought that was fascinating. And you want to eat as much in season as possible so that you're getting it when it's just cut at the farm and going into your body. And you need to cook. Stop eating all the processed and the fast food because it gives your body absolutely nothing to work with. And your body's replacing cells every day, all day long. Your gut replaces its wall every 7 days. So if you're not giving it good things to replace your gut wall with, it's not going to happen. Different parts of the body take different lengths of time. I think your hair takes 10 years. But you need good building blocks. It's just like garbage in, garbage out. It's also true with the body.
Cool. All right, everybody. You heard it directly from the muse. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. This is absolutely fascinating. You know, it's really funny because when we first got introduced, I thought, that's not anything I really want on my show. No, it's nice to meet you, but move on. And I am just now absolutely fascinated by this. It's just, and I can see where it can help so many people. So our next conversation is going to be on reducing stress and exercising. And I look forward to it. Guys, mark your calendars for upcoming episodes. We have wonderful conversations with Cheryl and with other great speakers and business owners and people who are here to share their knowledge and expertise because they care and they want us to be the best people out there that we can be. Our show airs on Thursday evenings at 5 p.m. at don'twaittillpigsfly.com. If you liked this episode, let us know. Follow us. Share it with others. Ask questions down below, and we'll answer them. You heard Cheryl say she'll answer them. I'll answer them. Give us ideas for other topics you'd like to hear about. And until we meet again, get out there. Watch what you eat, take care of yourself, be productive, and soar higher. Till we talk again, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you are a seasoned entrepreneur who is ready to take your business to the next level, Nancy is looking for you. Learn how to get the momentum going, streamline your systems, and get more clients straight from the source. Nancy has run several successful businesses from her living room, and she's looking for new clients just like you. Go to businesssuccessunlimited.com and use the contact form at the bottom of the page to see if you are a good fit. Nancy would love to help you.